The Carnival Celebration is one of the biggest ships Carnival has ever built. And after 8 days on board, I can tell you there's a lot of things this ship does right. But does bigger actually mean better? I've scored the ship on 5 main categories to find out. Let's cruise in. Welcome to Cruise on Demand, where cruising smart is always on the itinerary. I'm your host, Tina Altman. I spent 8 days in the Carnival Celebration, and instead of just walking you around the ship, I'm going to walk you through my Cruise on Demand scorecard. That means we're going to talk about 5 major categories: ship's condition, the cabin experience, onboard activities, restaurants and dining, and employee interaction. Each category has up to a score of 20 points for a grand total of 100. By the end of this video, you'll know whether this ship is worth it for you or just another big ship with a lot to do. Let's start with ship conditions because first impressions really matter. As soon as you walk on board, you walk into what they call the center stage. And it is a beautiful open space that goes up 3 decks. As soon as you walk on, you realize how massive the ship really is. But since it was built in 2022, it is still pristine and beautiful. And when you're walking around, you constantly see crew members cleaning up all different areas of the ship just to make sure she stays beautiful and clean, especially with so many people on board. This is actually the biggest ship that we have been on. I really thought it was going to be too much, but because there's so much to do and the ship is so beautiful and clean, it really didn't feel like there were too many people on board unless you're in an area that happened to be doing a busy activity at the time. But other than that, you could find a place to sit and be quiet and not bump into really anybody else most hours of the day. I personally loved going to center stage and sitting in the chairs that are a little back further, close to the Java Blue Cafe. It was quiet most mornings until about 10 o'clock. One of the things I hate about the ship though and the layout is the Excel class ship, Carnival Celebration, does not have a laundry room. We did pack our gay laundry pods with the expectation that we would do some laundry throughout the week, but unfortunately there is no laundrette on this cruise ship. So we did have to send our laundry in with the room steward. For me, that's a bit of a disappointment on a ship because I like to be able to have that flexibility to be able to do my own laundry, especially if I don't have status on a ship in order to have it done for free. Something else I really didn't like about the ship was the layout of the spa. Because it's on deck 5 and 6, you go in on deck 6, but you walk down to deck 5 to do things like the thermal spa and a lot of the different rooms for services. And so it was a really weird combination and it just seemed like it didn't really flow very well for me. I liked it when you kind of just walk right into the spa and the thermal spa is like right around the corner when you walk in. That's really not that big of a deal. Overall, the ship was beautiful, well maintained. I really love that they have a lot of the different foods on different decks, so it's not like all spread on the Lido deck like it is in a lot of the smaller ships. To me, the ship was great and I gave it an 18 out of 20. We're gonna go ahead and move on to cabin experience. As I mentioned, our cruise was a last minute cruise, so we pretty much were given whatever room was available at the time. Whatever one had popped open, I grabbed it and we booked it. I didn't even look at where it was because I really didn't care at that point. But it was on deck 5. And deck 5 on the Carnival Celebration, it's the highest of the lower decks. And we were at midship, so we were right below center stage. Most nights, it really wasn't that big of a deal. When the music would be on, it would only be on till about 11:30 or midnight, so you were still able to go to bed at a decent hour. And it really wasn't overpowering loud. What was loud, it was also an adjoining room. And our neighbors were having a horrible vacation and fighting a lot. And we heard pretty much every word of their fight. So you need to be careful if you book on deck 5 adjoining rooms if you like your room quiet. But if you like your room cold, this room was perfect. I don't normally need an extra blanket. I can get them because I love them. But in that room, we needed our blue blankets. That room got so cold. And it had tons of outlets. Some of the good things about the room is, to me, it had a perfect amount of space for a 2 people, and it was only a 2-person cabin, and it was big enough, and we never felt cramped, even though it was an interior room. Overall, I gave the room a 16 out of 20. If you want to see the full room tour, you can go ahead and click on the link up here or go down in the description below and learn all about our experience in our cabin. Onboard activities is one of the categories that this ship shines. I'm going to go ahead and start with the things that are not so great on the ship because that list is much shorter. One thing I don't like about the ship is that a lot of the major shows are on center stage, right in the middle. The problem with center stage is it doesn't have traditional theater seating. The seating is really weird. It extends over 3 decks, and each deck has a little bit of seating right on the edge of the balcony area or right in front of the stage. But then each layer also has seating below the next level. And so you can't really see the entire performance. You can see the stage, but not above it if you're on one of those further back seats. So since it doesn't have the traditional style theater seating, it does make for a really awkward way to see the show. Plus, unless you got there 30 to 40 minutes early in order to get a decent seat, you were probably standing up in the back of the balcony trying to enjoy the show, but there were multiple layers of people trying to do the same thing. So if you're short like me, you pretty much gave up after 5 minutes and you didn't watch the show. That was my situation. This ship is full of activities, from mini golf to the rope course to basketball and pickleball to a roller coaster. If you want something to do on this ship, there is tons of activities. Those are just the thrill type stuff. Then you have trivia multiple times a day, bingo, deal or no deal, and activities no matter what your appetite. For me, onboard activities for the Carnival Celebration received an 18 out of 20. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to restaurants and dining. I just did a video last week that talks about everything that we ate on the Carnival Celebration, and we tried to stay all of our food included. So we didn't actually try any of the specialty dining on this cruise. If you're interested in that video, go ahead and click up here or go down in the description below where I'll put a link to that video. One of the best things about the ship though is you really could eat just the included food and never have to pay for anything extra. There are tons of free options on the ship, and I don't even think you could eat it all on an 8-day cruise. We certainly left some things that we either just nibbled on a little bit or tried once, but we certainly didn't get our fill of it. And the food in the main dining room is, in my opinion, almost specialty dining quality. In all of the Excel class ships, you do get to have cucina del capitano or chibang as one of your dinners one night without actually having to pay anything. And we did chibang on this trip, and honestly, it was the worst meal of all of the restaurant food that we had. Another great thing about the restaurants is we did anytime dining and we never had to wait for our table. We pretty much put our name down anytime that we wanted to eat for the trip, and we were in within 10 to 15 minutes. And I almost never saw a line waiting for people to get into there, which means they were doing that regardless of what time you wanted to eat. So I think the options they have on the ship make it very clear that restaurants and dining should get a 17 out of 20. Our fifth and final category is employee interactions. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the negatives on this because that's how my cruise started. When we first got onto the ship, our room did not have our names on the keys because they had switched because it was a last minute cruise. So we had to wait a really long time in guest services. When we finally got back to our room, we realized it was disgusting. It had not been cleaned. It was one of the worst room conditions I have seen getting onto a ship. And I do have a whole cleaning routine that I do when I get on because we go on many cruises. We want to make sure we stay healthy. We make sure we go back to them. So I do disinfect and clean the entire room when I get on. I have never seen my Clorox wipes this dirty. Not only that, there was a pill left in our room. Thank God it was an adult room and there were no children in there that would have just found that pill on the floor. I will say we didn't have a whole bunch of standout situations. We had two that really stood out above everybody else. Anton was serving us brunch, and he did so with a smile, but he was by far the best waiter or waitress that we had the entire time on the cruise. The second one was when we went to Big Chicken. We were at Big Chicken at lunch rush. There were actually no more chicken tenders left and one serving of fries. I ended up getting a sandwich. My husband didn't get anything. We were just going to go up later. But when she got the next batch, she knew where we were sitting. The lady who took our order actually ran out of Big Chicken, walked around and brought us the chicken tenders that just came out of the oven or the fryer. Great experience with her. I didn't get her name, but that was probably the best standout going above and beyond that we experienced on the Carnival Celebration. There really wasn't anything bad, like I said, other than the room being dirty in the beginning. The room steward was amazing after that. He must have had a really bad turnover day. I know the crew works incredibly hard. I am going to give employee interaction a 16 out of 20. So after 8 days in the Carnival Celebration and scoring all 5 of my major categories, the Carnival Celebration ends up with a 85, a solid B. When you look at the size, the number of options, and everything the ship has to offer, it's easy to assume that bigger is going to be better. But when you actually break it down category by category, that's not always the case. This ship is a great example where it had some categories where it really shined, and others where it doesn't quite live up to what you'd expect from such a big ship. So the real question is bigger better for you? And honestly, it depends on what you value most in a cruise. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you want more ship tours, reviews, and tips, be sure to like and subscribe so you know exactly when I drop my videos each and every week. If you're going on the Carnival Celebration, I have a playlist here from all my videos of when I went on the ship. But if you want to let YouTube take the wheel, you can click on the other video they've put up there because they think you like it. Until next time, keep on cruising.